just basically just giving you more information about the red oxide trash, the comets that are being dragged by Nibiru and Nemesis. You can see here on the horizons, you can see the trash, the reflections of the system that's coming in. As it will come in twice, it will basically go past on the crossing of the Earth as it's orbiting, and basically it will swing around like a comet and come back the other way, heading back out towards the Kuiper belt. And it's just basically a situation where we've got all this coming towards us now. Here's another image of the trash, the comets that are coming through. You can see the colouring of it, and it's huge. And this is what also they're chemtrailing to hide what's going on up in the skies. The sun is being infected, and also Nemesis, the star, is also in our solar system. And also this, they're showing truth on the webcams, and you can see what's going on. Now here on the Mexico webcam here, basically you can see that something else is rising. Can you see the blueness in the background? And you can see the white hot situation in the background. There's something that's rising. The sun is coming up from the other side, where this is coming up from the west. There is definitely a system that's coming up there in the skies. So everybody, you must basically just keep your eyes to the skies. The opposite side of when the sun's rising, you will see these heavenly bodies that are moving around up there in the skies. It's very important that you see this. Things are getting very stranger by the day. So here's another image that's coming through of the Mexico cams. This is basically a situation where you've got the horizon, and the sun is basically coming up, and also it's very dim still. It's dimming, the skies are dimming, and things are getting worse on the situation. So what you need to do is you need to just basically just keep looking at the images, keep looking and seeing what you can find, because at the end of the day this system is coming in. Also, you can see on this image here the sun to the left, it's very dark. We are being dimmed by this simulator. The simulator is up there, and it's basically causing our Earth to dim because they're hiding these celestial bodies. This is fact. Okay, this has been going on now for many years. It was in the papers back in the 1980s, the heavenly body lurking in our solar system, and NASA has covered it up. The government shut it down to stop mass panic, because these things are happening now and they need to be disclosed. The truth needs to come out. Now also here on the Mexico cam, you can see on the horizon again the trash, the Nibiru system, the Nemesis system. They're covering it up with the chemtrails. All the chemicals are being put up in the skies now. Our Earth isn't the same anymore. The skies have changed, and also we as humans are breathing all this stuff in, and basically it's so unfair, because at the end of the day we've done nothing wrong. We just want to get on with our lives, and please just leave us alone, chemtrails, because at the end of the day these planes are evil and they're making us sick poorly. There is another picture here on the Mexico cams where you can see where they're just throwing up all these chemicals, and the sun is like in a watery effect, and basically there's 2 to 3 objects that are huge out there with our sun and the moons, and also there's billions of comets that are being dragged with it, and this is going to happen. The pole shift will happen. Look to the right of the city on this image. You can see it's very dark, far too dark for the time that's showing on the time on the top right hand corner there. These things are happening now. People know that it's happening. Here's another quick image to show you that basically the sun is not the same anymore. The simulators up there, the horizons are different. We're breathing these chemtrails. It's just like as if you walk into somebody's house and someone's been smoking 50 to 60 cigarettes, and it's very smoky in the room. And this is what we're getting at the moment. We're breathing these things in. Okay, there's campaigns saying stop smoking and everything, exhaust fumes and everything like that, and nasty chemicals. But the thing is, at the end of the day, they're being hypocrites, because at the end of the day the government is throwing up all the chemtrails, and it's just as bad as anything else. So we're breathing this stuff into our lungs. Many non-smokers, many people that don't like smoke or chemicals and things, but I'm afraid we're breathing it in. The fluorides in the water, everything is now being thrown back at us, and we need to stand up to this. We really do. So we need to sort out a presentation for next year after Christmas and New Year, so we can try and get some sort of like contact together, a community to save lives. We need to all start standing our ground now. Okay, here's another image of to the right. You can see it's so dark, okay, for the time on the cam, and also the sun that's hidden by the clouds, and you can see the clouds being burnt in the sky, as basically our sun is acting like a very hot star. It's being confused, it's being manipulated by Nemesis, and also they're hiding the system, the sun, with this. It just basically amazes me, this simulator situation. I can't believe they actually put that up there, because at the end of the day the Sumerians didn't have it up there, and all other people in the past didn't see that. So it's just a cover up for us to carry on our merry way, to go and use the banks and use the taxpayers situation and basically pay out our wages, because at the end of the day we're slaves to this planet. This is a slave planet, and it's just basically we need to stand up and get out of this situation, because at the end of the day this can't go on anymore. They can't keep hiding this system from us anymore. This is another cam image where you can see basically the sun is there in the sky, but you can see how it's like a hexagon shape. That is the simulator that's causing that. And down on the city, down below on the earth, you can see it's too dark, and I saw this morning, this reflection. So please, tomorrow morning, get up, look at the reflection. You will see it's not the same as it was when you were younger in your day. Things have seriously changed. There is the sun again to the left, and the simulator is at its work. Also behind the simulator, because what happens is the simulator brights it very much brighter than normal, and basically the reason why that is because it's hiding the heavenly bodies that are behind it. And when they get too close in, that is it, game up. That is game up. We're finished, we'll see it, and that is it. And then you will never trust government anymore, because I won't. And also, I mean, look at the colouring of the cities. They're so dark and dim now. So basically what we need to do is we need to prep, and we need to basically try and get ourselves naturally impaired with this, you know, to be strong. And because it's a natural event, it's happened before. Look at this image, you can see the haze in the background. That is where the oxide dust is coming in, and also from the sun there you can see where it's getting mega hot, and the chemtrails start chemtrailing early in the morning as well, to try and block this heatness for us to not be infected. Anyway, take care and respect to you all. And
exact same thing again. There's a sky tower, clear sky. I'll try and zoom as far into it as I can without it being shaky, people. It's on a tripod, but what is that? Bloody missed it again.
It's a pity you make it some of your subscribers come on, you should have done it here in 2017.
I mean, it's massive. That is big. Because you look at it and it'll weigh in the distance, and then you bring it to the fore and it's just going to disappear underneath the cloud. But that's big, and it's certainly bigger than it was the last time.
Dave, welcome to the Soundbringer Studios here in the Pyrenees. Today we're going to talk about some big changes on this planet.
Yeah.
Things that have happened recently. So we had some really big things happen recently in the world, and so tell us about how you came here and what you just found out about
What's going on?
what's going on. Yeah, tell us about what's going on, really.
Okay, well, I'm here in the Pyrenees. Well, it began after a crazy dream about this thing, Nibiru, Planet X.
Okay.
And so many people talked about it. I heard that people came to the Pyrenees in 2012. And the crazy story was that they wanted to get on a spaceship. And that's what the media told us.
Yeah, I've had people, I know friends that have taken part actually in this thing. Yeah.
But, being out here, I realised that most people I speak to tell me that they came out here because this thing was coming in. It's been seen coming in, this, whatever it is, Nibiru, Nemesis.
Yeah.
This thing came in, lots of people talked about it. What was it? How soon would it be here? And as I'm understanding, people came here with the same idea as I put up in my new video about we should come up here and get seed banks together, we should come up here and make communities, we should come up here and
live together.
And live together, make
Share.
communities, share, and
So let's go back to how you came to have this dream, basically, and how it appeared to you, your first impressions of this new coming. How did you see it? You talked about earlier, you mentioned to me there's like a wall coming to us, or a barrier or something. How do you sense this presence?
Well, I've written a book called Laughing Gas, and I had a crazy experience. I know, it all sounds so crazy, but it is such a crazy time, and in such a crazy times, we experience it as craziness. All around us is craziness. So it was especially crazy for me when I started getting this message coming in. And it drove me out to South America. I thought I was sick. I was connected to the pain of the world. I couldn't escape from it. I was just distressed by it. And I wanted to ask the question, what the fuck is going on, to the gods of ayahuasca? Because that's the only place I'd ever really got an answer, truly, where I've really felt I'd communed with God. And so I went back there, and I cured my knee years ago in South America.
Yeah, ayahuasca is powerful.
And so I went there and I asked what the fuck's going on. That was the question I put to the gods. Literally that question. I know it's a bit rude, no offence, but it was just, that was the question I put. And the answer I got was, don't worry about your world. Unprecedented peace will now be waged upon your earth.
Wow.
And then it told me I was going to write a book, and it told me this whole journey, that it was my pain that brought me there, to that place. And it's as much... There's two sides to this. It's like a double-edged sword, and there's a very beautiful side to that pain. And that beautiful side of the pain is the actions that we take to combat that pain. Is our direction in life, is what gives us the harmony to ease that pain when we are connected to when we are connected to it. We have to change the way we live.
Stay connect together in different ways, and get out of this mental state we've been into for so many years, through drugs, the population has been controlled through certain type of drugs, and probably we need to lay off these ones and go into another world of exploration.
Yeah, well, I
with some help of the ancients.
Well, I kind of after that experience in South America, I realised that if I was going to write, I had to really kind of change my whole lifestyle, and I wrote for 6 years, and I learned the practice my father learned during that time, and he died earlier this year, but he was a channel. And he taught me the same technique, and I was able at certain times to open that door to get beautiful answers to these questions that I was putting.
That's a gift.
It was a beautiful experience, a beautiful time in my life. Writing Laughing Gas was probably the most beautiful experience I've ever had. And then I was answered lots of questions during that process, and one of the things that I was told was that we now approach a wall. But I wasn't told what that wall was.
Okay.
But it said you can throw everything you like at it, all your nuclear bombs, all your depleted uranium, all your hate, all your racism, all your all your divide and conquer tactics, everything you've got to subvert this world, you can throw at this thing, but you will not take that past this wall. And so the book begins with Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall.
Like, no one shall pass through the hole of a needle. Only the righteous shall go, like in Bibles.
Yeah,
it's reminiscent of a lot of religious religious things as well, I guess. This more.
Yeah, but even in that, you know, there's so much. You know, I often hear that phrase. It's easier for a rich man. No, it's easier for.
For a rich man to enter.
It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle, is it, or something like that?
Camel's eye, that's it. Yeah.
Or then a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. But just by irony, you know, there's a perception in there, because when you think of the great Wailing Wall that went round Jerusalem. Okay, so there was. I seem to remember there was a great needle, and that needle had a tiny, like a great door, which was the needle, and it had a tiny door. And that tiny door was the eye of the needle.
That's it.
And to get a camel through the eye of the needle, through this door, the master would have to take its possessions off his back, and then it would drop down onto his knee.
Yes,
Camel.
that's it. Yeah.
Very easy to get a camel through the eye of a needle, actually. It's very easy. But the thing is that the camel has to carry its master's possessions across the desert. So it's like, take as much as you like. Just remember, when you pass through, you can't take it with you.
Use it while you're on this earth.
Make the most of everything now, you know what I mean? Because none of that shit you can take with you.
It's all tools. It's all tools to achieve a specific goal.
But the dream, okay, I'm going to tell you the crazy dream.
Tell us about your dream.
The dream was, I'd never understood what the wall was. I was just told that we approach this wall and that you know, that's it, and we'll throw everything you like at it. You know, unprecedented peace is going to be waged on this earth, whether we like it or not. It's a wall. Never knew what the wall was. And then I got a message. My mother's also a channel, and she gave me a message about 4 years ago saying that I was going to get a message.
Okay, she warned you.
So she kind of told me or warned me. It wasn't so much as a warning. It was just like something's going to come your way. And it said I would have to act on it. I would not be able to think on it. I wouldn't be able to ask anyone else what to do. I would just have to act. And I would have to make decisions. And upon those decisions, the entire opportunity of my existence here on this plane balances on that. It's my chance to see who I am. Not what I want to be, not what I hope to be, not what I could be, not what I might be. But whatever I do and whatever I don't do, that is the imprint that will be left. Whether I procrastinate and hope that I might take action or do something, whatever I do, it has to live in the doing, not a wanting, not a hoping. So it was a really you can imagine, it was just like, oh my God, what is it going to be? You know what I mean? No! Pressure! And so anyway, then I got this big gig at Glastonbury this year, doing this. And you're a sound man, so you'll appreciate this as well. You know, doing this.
Glastonbury once as well.
Well, doing this gig in Shangri-La, doing this venue called the House of Commons, which was all about the House of Lords ruling over the House of Commons via secrets of a sexual nature. The House of Commons.
Come on.
And just before I did this, everything was looking really, really cool, and it was all happy. And it's going to be Dave's perfect hour, and it was all going to be great. And I'm a satirical politician in England, I suppose, and with my birthday party and all the rest of it. And then I have this dream, and it blows everything apart. And in this dream, I'm being chased. I lived on this site just outside of Glastonbury. I had my caravan on this site just out of Glastonbury. Perfect. I've been writing there for the last 4 years.
Okay.
I'm being chased down this grass track behind where I used to live in Glastonbury, and I'm running as fast as I can. It's pitch black.
Oh, sounds like a Hitchcock, yeah.
And I can see the outline of their faces, and they look terrifying. They look utterly terrifying. They look demonic, crazed, like they don't just want to kill me, they want to tear me into a million pieces. I was just like running, it was so real. It was so fantastically real. And then I see a friend of mine, a really, really good friend of mine who sells pizzas. And he does puppet shows, and he gets me into festivals, help me get into festivals, selling books, as long as I need his bread for his pizzas and his puppet shows. Anyway, he turns up in my dream, and he always gives me an apron when I'm working, making these pizzas. He always gives me an apron, and he just turns up, and I'm like, God, what's going on? What's going on? And he said, Dave, take this, and he gives me this bundle, it's an apron. I just suddenly feel very relaxed wearing this apron. And I look at him, and you would have thought my biggest concern would have been the soldiers running after me with their crazed faces. But actually, I find myself asking him, what's going on? Why is the light gone out? Where's the sun? And he just looks at me with this expression that is just utterly quite grave, but quite like he wants to tell me something really quite like.
Nothing important.
And he says, I said, what's going on? And he said, that. And he's just pointing up. And I look at where he's pointing, and as I look at his hands pointing up, I get shot straight out into space. And I'm looking at the Earth, and it's completely dark. I can see all the cities dotting across, but there's no light beyond the Earth. Like the other side of the Earth isn't being bathed in sunshine whilst I'm looking at one side, which is dark. And I'm like, where's the sun? And I just turn around to look at the sun, and as I do, it's just, you know, and I'm kind of a point of consciousness, I guess. I'm just a window on this whole thing. I just see this massive celestial object coming towards me at massive speed with a tail. Wow. Not like an asteroid.
Yeah.
Not like a comet.
Huge mass.
A planet. A full-sized, like absolute. I'm
You're
right
just
next
floating
to it.
here, and
I'm just, you know, I'm just like, ah! You know. And it was so crystal clear. Anything, you know, Hollywood movies, you name it, it just doesn't really touch on how graphic that was. You know, it was just absolutely pristine. And then it sails past me, and I'm just like, I can just feel this, like, ah! And I hear these words as I see it sailing towards the Earth, and Earth just being, it's just kind of, it's eclipsing the sun. It's blocking all the sunlight to Earth. And I'm just mesmerised by this feeling. Just
gripping to see like what's going on.
It was completely had me, and then I just heard the words, crystal clear, bellowed through me. This is what the fuss is all about.
Okay, that was the answer.
And then suddenly I see this crest of light appear on the left-hand side of Earth as I'm looking at it. And it just gets closer and closer, and this light just sweeps across the Earth. And then just suddenly Earth is completely bathed in light. Okay. And this thing carries on going without any impact.
Okay. It's a close call.
It's a close call, okay. But no impact. And I just jumped up, and I went to this place this kind of space that I opened, that my father taught me to open, with writing, and I said, it misses, doesn't it? And the immediate answer I got was, yes, it misses. It's not your karma. And then it said, it is deemed you are not a race at war, you're a race subverted with war. And then it just told me this whole story of how we have such a high vibration. We have such a high vibration. We've worked so hard to overcome this that it can be corrected. It's all going to be all right. This thing has not come once before. It's not come twice before. It's come many times before. And the big worry is if it hits. And this thing doesn't hit. It's just going to go round and round. But it's going to bring change. It's going to bring big change. And change is happening all the time. For many people in the world right now, there's massive change. For us right here and now, there's change. There's always change. But it's a change that's going to help us cope with that, which is really trying to bring the vibration down. And that's going to come through change. Everything comes through change.
So it's going to help us. It's going to help us raise our energy. Whereas, like, let's say the media or the agenda would be to bring us in low vibration, this is going to help us raise our vibration even more and understand each other even more and work together even more. What do you mean by that? It's no fear to be had in that event. It's something we should welcome.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's something we should
embrace. Yeah.
That's the feeling I'm getting. I'm getting the feeling that we have got to think about the next 3,600 years.
Exactly.
What we do with this next age. You know, what we create here will be the beginning of this new age. And the first thing, if this thing does come, the first thing we're going to do is tell those in the future that this thing is coming, so they can prepare. And we can tell them you want to keep this vibration as high as you can, as you will not make it through. You will not get through. That will be the first message we leave. You know, our future generations, telling them, listen, this thing really does come around, and if you go below the radar, there has to be containment. There has to be containment. And actually, we've done so well, even with all this subversion that's going on. The actual vibration of Earth is actually higher than you can possibly believe. We are waging peace. We're all waging peace in our own little way. We all know what's going on. We all see it. None of us can really believe this thing, Nibiru or anything. It's a completely different story to everything we've been told. It just seems that so many people have come before us and said, oh, Nibiru's coming, and then it didn't come in 2012, and the Mayan prophecies telling us, just like the Sanskrit prophecies, just like the biblical prophecies, just like the Mesopotamian prophecies that all told us this thing comes around. And in 2012 they came up here saying this thing was coming. Now we get the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the sinkholes, the raising of the sea temperature. 500 earthquakes in the last 2 weeks. You know, this thing is getting...
Well, 4th of August, we've got it back again. The 5th of August. What's today's date? 5th of August. Same thing, 2 tails. Definitely not a plane. There's a sky tower. That's still there. the tails are facing up and down the way. So I mean that tells you it's not a plane. Look. Look. Here.
Oh, aye.